Hello, everyone. This is Josh Friend. I'm bringing something a little bit different today, something personal. I'm here with my big sister, Jennifer Friend. And first, why I'm here and what I want to talk about is something that's kind of near and dear to me and to my sister. And my sister is the CEO of Project Hope Alliance. And just real quickly, Jen, what does Project Hope Alliance do?
Project Hope Alliance serves the children experiencing homelessness in our public school system. So in Orange County right now, according to the Orange County Department of Ed, there are almost 29,000 children who are living in cars, motels, sleeping on the floors of friends' houses, or doubled or tripled up or in shelters, attending our public schools. And so Project Hope actually goes into the schools to meet the needs of our children experiencing homelessness, making sure that they graduate from high school, because just that one thing reduces the likelihood that they'll be a homeless adult by almost 400%.
29,000 homeless children in one of the most affluent places in the world. It's actually pretty, and that's to be correct, and that's self-identified, right, Jen?
That's exactly right. And we know just by going into the schools that the number is probably closer to 4 times that. Nationally, the self-identified number of children and youth attending America's public school system is 1.5 million.
Wow. So the reason why are we bringing this message to you now is because, as we know, this crisis we're having right now is impacting everyone. We have 3.5 million people that filed for unemployment, but I think it's impacting children, and especially because children aren't going to school. And I think something to kind of share that can give perspective. I'm going to ask Jen to give a couple examples of how it's affecting the children. But I can tell you, speaking for Jen and for myself, one of the reasons why Jennifer is involved in Project Hope Alliance, and one of the things that I'm passionate about it for, is there's times as a child that I experienced homelessness. So as an early kid, I had lived in a motel, lived with friends, lived in garages. So I understand what it's like to have school be your respite, if you will. You wake up, Jen, we were probably usually the first kids on campus. That was a great place for us to have stability, to sit there, to have friends, have somewhere to read, relax, eat. Most kids, most of the people here watching this don't understand that maybe the children actually face that. So today, these kids who were waking up, maybe in a motel, maybe 5, 6 people sleeping in a motel room, sleeping in a garage, sleeping in, 10 people in a 1-bedroom apartment. They're in one place one night, somewhere else the next night, or sleeping in cars or in tents. And they can't go to school. And I know, Jen, we were talking about this last week. Just give me a story about something that's happened recently with some of the kids you serve.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Josh. And that's why right now it's so critical that we see our kids and we really step up for them. What I was sharing with you last week was that we have a brother and sister who the sister has a 4.3 GPA, despite the fact that they are experiencing homelessness, and they take 3 buses to get to school here in Orange County every day. And when this crisis hit, excuse me, as you said, all of a sudden our kids had no safe place to go. They didn't have 2 meals a day. Most of our kids are eating breakfast and lunch at school, and sometimes snacks as well, and after school care programs. So this brother and sister actually took 3 buses from Anaheim to come to our office last week just so they had a place to go. I was at the office 2 days ago. We're here, we're open. We're open Monday through Friday and on call 24/7 for our kids and our families. Right now, a mom and her 4 kids came. And they came by because they heard that we were open. And right now, all the systems are really closing in around our kids.
Yep.
The school system is closed, libraries are closed, YMCAs, Boys and Girls Clubs. And something that often we don't think about is when we're closing fast food restaurants and other restaurants and libraries are closed, our kids don't have a place to use the restroom even.
Oh, wow.
If they're living in cars, or if they're sleeping sometimes in shelters, which have changed their hours of operation, but usually you can't stay in a shelter during the day. You can only come to the shelter at night. Our kids don't have a place to even use the restroom.
Or Wi-Fi. I know we were discussing this, which is something I was, as my kids are at home using, Chromebooks and their ThinkPads, all the different stuff they're using to do homework. last week you're discussing that you guys were buying hotspots and explain, and I said, well, don't they get, the government and utilities give free Wi-Fi to people who can't afford it? And you kind of brought up a great point. Explain what's going on there.
Yeah, so if you're sleeping in a car or you're in a motel that you're maybe paying $39 a night for, the school can issue you a Chromebook, but you don't have Wi-Fi access. And so this disparity that we see with our poor children and our children experiencing homelessness in particular in the educational sphere is only going to get greater. Right now, on average, children experiencing homelessness are 2 full school years behind. Right now, while we have this new push for online learning, it's almost disingenuous to say that students have the ability to access online learning if they're homeless. So Project Hope has been issuing Chromebooks with Wi-Fi hotspots. Those are things that actually our community has been, and our corporate community and Accelerate is doing it, stepping up and helping us buy more Wi-Fi hotspots, because it means nothing if a student has a Chromebook and they have no way to access online learning. So when we get back into school in the fall, we're gonna have kids who have slid not only a summer slide, but we're talking about a full academic year slide.
Now, what's great about all this, and I think what's great about our community, and I'm gonna challenge the people in the mortgage community out there, is we can all do something about this, right? This is something that is, it's tangible, it's in our neighborhoods. So one of the things that we're doing in Accelerate is we're donating 2% of our sales in the month of April. Any new clients that come on board, plus we've already given a donation to Project Hope Alliance as well. And then another thing I want to challenge everyone else out there is, I'm going to ask you, Jen, in a second how you can help, how people can help, but just for Project Hope Alliance, those people in Orange County and Southern California, or for in any place in the United States, right? Orange County has a very large homeless population of children because of the weather and because of just our society and where we're at. You can text HOPE to 411-411. That's HOPE to 411-411. Little shout out, I want to say thanks to Whitetail and Nick Newsom for setting this up for Project Hope Alliance. So text 411, HOPE to 411-411. And then just if the other way someone can get involved in the community real quickly, I know you given me earlier a great example. If you're in a different community, let's say you're in Texas, you're in Nebraska or somewhere, and you're like, hey, this is important to me, I want to help my local community and my local children. What's the best way they could go, someone can go help now?
Right now, what we're seeing is a lot of coordination coming out of our houses of faith. So whether it is a church or a temple or a mosque or a synagogue, right now, people are really pulling together resources, food, crisis response funds, and not only from their congregations, but a lot of the faith community, specifically larger synagogues or churches, are going outside of their congregation and doing food drives and things like that. So let's say, for example, you're in Texas and you live near a large place of worship. I just give them a call because they're really putting together a lot of the crisis response work, and they're partnering with the nonprofits. In Orange County right now, Project Hope Alliance is helping to bring together some large faith partners as well as business partners to be able to distribute more food, both perishable and non-perishable, Chromebooks and Wi-Fi hotspots directly into the motels where our families are living. I got a report yesterday that there's one particular motel in Tustin where the shelters are sending, because the shelters are being completely overwhelmed right now, family shelters, because so many of our hourly wage workers are out of work right now. And there was a line outside of the office at this particular motel. So we're mobilizing the resources of different pockets of our community to be able to actually bring them to the children at these motels. And there are similar things like that going on all around the country. So really picking up the phone and calling a larger place of worship in your community will be a great starting point for you to see if you could donate food, volunteer hours. There's a lot of ways that we can volunteer that are still safe in practicing social distancing and the CDC requirements.
Great. Listen, it's a real crisis out there. Everyone should get involved. If you don't have a place to give, you can always text HOPE to 411-411 and hope get the Project Hope Alliance. everyone else out there, thank you very much, and I appreciate your time, and stay safe.